What if I told you the Vatican wasn't always in Rome? For nearly 70 years, it was right here in Avignon, France. Today is day 3 of our Viking River Cruise on the Lyon Provence itinerary in France, sailing the Rhône River on the Viking Longship Hermod. And we're about to explore one of the most unexpected and powerful places in Europe. Hi, I am Oksana and welcome to Signature Travel Channel, where I share everything you need to know about river cruising in Europe and beyond, along with real experiences, tips, and behind-the-scenes moments to help you plan your own trip. So make sure you subscribe and let's explore Avignon together. After an incredible day exploring Arles yesterday, we're back in Avignon. We actually arrived here the night before around 9:30 p.m., so this morning already felt a little familiar. My husband even went out for a jog early in the morning and came back with delicious coffee, not a bad way to start the day. By the way, we stayed in a standard stateroom and I noticed robes and slippers weren't included in the room, but I just requested them and they brought them right away. Super easy and great service. The morning started with a breakfast in the main dining room, which is usually from 7:30 to 9 a.m. You'll see consistent breakfast selection every day, along with a menu where you can order additional items. Since it was around Halloween time, they had even these chocolate candies out, which was a nice touch. And today we had one excursion planned with the options of active, regular, and leisure pace. And of course, we chose the active one, and I'm really glad we did. You'll see why. Everyone was divided into the groups for the tours. For each tour, we're provided with these small devices called Quiet Fox, which are actually kept right in your room. They're basically audio devices that let you hear your guide clearly, even you're walking through busy streets or you're a little further away from the group. I paired mine with AirFly and AirPods, which made it even better. Honestly, such a useful thing to have. I'll talk more about it later in my videos because it really makes a difference during these tours. Our guide was already waiting for us right at the pier, and we began walking into the city, actually following the same path we took on our first introductory walk. And this time it felt different because now we knew where we were going and could really take it all in. The tour itself was about 3 hours, giving us plenty of time to explore Avignon in more depth. Did you know there is a place in France that was once like a temporary Vatican? I had no idea, but for almost 70 years, Avignon was actually the center of the Catholic Church, not Rome. That honestly surprised me. So let's talk about Avignon. In the 1300s, when the Catholic Church moved here, this quiet riverside town was completely transformed. Almost overnight, it became one of the most important religious and cultural centers in Europe. And the evidence of that transformation is still everywhere in the massive walls, grand buildings, and the feeling that this small town once held incredible power. As you arrive in Avignon, one of the first things you notice are these massive stone walls surrounding the entire city. They were built in the 1300s during the time when the popes actually lived here, and they weren't just decorative. These walls were designed to protect one of the most important cities in Europe at all time. What's incredible is how well preserved they still are today. The walls stretch for miles around the town with dozens of towers and gates that once controlled who could enter. And what I love is that you don't just look at them, you actually pass through them. Walking into Avignon feels like stepping back in time, like you're entering a completely different world hidden behind these walls. It's very different from places like Vatican, which feel open and grand. Here, everything feels enclosed, protected, and a little more intimate. And then you see it, the Palace of Popes. It's honestly hard to believe something this massive exists in what feels like such a small and charming town. Avignon was anything but small. When a French pope decided Rome was too dangerous, he moved the papacy here, and suddenly this quiet town became the center of Christianity. In total, 7 popes ruled from Avignon. The entire city transformed almost overnight. Avignon became Europe's largest construction zone. The population grew from just 6,000 people to over 25,000, which was huge at that time. And at the heart of it all, this palace. The Palace of the Popes isn't just impressive, it was built to show power. With walls up to 10 feet thick, it was one of the most fortified places ever built, more like a fortress than a royal residence. Even today, it's the largest surviving Gothic palace in Europe. What surprised me though, what it feels like inside. You might expect something very ornate and luxurious, but instead, many of the rooms are actually quite simple, large, open, almost empty spaces. There are few original wall paintings, a beautiful beautiful Gothic chapel and some detailed floor tiles. But overall, it feels more raw and historic than decorative. But for me, the best part was something not everyone gets to experience. Because we were on a more active tour, we actually got to climb one of these towers. And from the top, the view is incredible. You can see the entire city of Avignon, the Rhône River flowing through and surrounding countryside stretching out in every direction. And you realize you're not just visiting a landmark, you're just standing in a place that once shaped the entire world. And then we continued walking through town. And of course, how could you not stop by a church when you're in Europe? We stepped into St. Pierre Basilica, and it's one of those places that just quietly takes your breath away. The details, the atmosphere, it's not overwhelming, but it feels very authentic and peaceful. From there, we kept walking through Avignon's charming streets, and this is really where you start to feel the rhythm of the city. People sitting outside cafes, enjoying coffee or tea, just taking their time. It doesn't feel rushed. It feels like real life happening around, not just a place for tourists. And then we made our way to Leal, the local market, and this is truly one of the most iconic spots in Avignon. Even from the outside, it stands out with a beautiful green wall covered in plants, giving it more modern, lively feel right in the middle of the historic city. But once you step inside, it's completely different experience. This market has been a meeting place for locals for over 100 years, and you can really feel that it's not just for visitors. You can see everyone here, locals doing their daily shopping, tourists exploring, and even people just stopping by for a quick bite or a glass of wine. There are more than 40 vendors inside, all offering different specialties of the region: fresh produce, cheeses, meats, seafood, and everything you can imagine. And it's not just about the food, it's the atmosphere, the smells, the energies, the conversation. It feels alive. But the highlight for me was one of the vendors. He grabbed a chicken and started singing in French like it was a full performance. It was such a fun and unexpected moment, and honestly, that's what makes travel so special.
Okay. Allons enfants de la patrie, le jour de gloire est arrivé. Vive la France, ouais! Vive la France, ouais!
Moments like these are what I love most, not just seeing a place, but really experiencing it. We continued our tour, but soon it was time to head back to the ship, so we made our way through the town one more time. These small Provençal streets almost don't feel real, like something out of a movie. The old stone buildings, the tiny shops, everything feels so timeless. We passed little stores filled with colorful candies, local boutiques, and cafes where people just sitting, taking, enjoying their day. And around 12 p.m. it was time for lunch, and we got a table right by the floor-to-ceiling windows on Viking Longship, which honestly makes such a difference. It just feels so relaxing. I started with a leek and potato soup, then had a pasta with porcini mushrooms, and finished with strawberry Romanov ice cream. After lunch, I just took some time to relax with a coffee out on the deck. The weather was beautiful, the water was calm. There was a Uniworld ship docked right next to us, and honestly, I can never fully turn off work mode. So I asked if I could take a look at the ship, and they were kind enough to give me a tour of SS Catherine. I'll actually be making a separate video about that experience, because it was very interesting to compare the two. But that's the beauty of this kind of travel. There's always something new to discover. Viking also offers optional tours in the afternoon, which comes at an extra cost. They usually end around 6 or 6:15 p.m., but we decided to stick with our plan because after a little bit of relaxing time on the ship, Avignon was calling us again. By this point, we had already done a tour earlier in the day, so we kind of knew where everything was. So we decided to just walk, explore with no schedule at all. Look at this town. How can you not fall in love with it? It feels so authentic, so real, like you just stepping into a painting. Sometimes people say that when you take a river cruise, you don't really experience the towns, but I don't think that's true at all. You actually have so many opportunities to explore on your own. If you want, you can skip lunch or dinner on the ship and go try something local instead. And for me, I always go for desserts in Europe. I truly think they have some of the best desserts in the world. Those small local shops are very popular with residents and they never disappoint. So my husband got gelato from a local gelateria, which was absolutely excellent, and I picked up dessert from another little spot, also amazing. I'll leave the names below because I'll definitely recommend both. And then we just kept walking, take it all in, enjoying every kind of moment of Avignon. Avignon's beauty isn't the loud look at me kind, it's understated and quietly confident, the sort that grows on you with every cobblestone and cafe stop. And if you're wondering what to bring home from Provence, local products are always the best. And here lavender truly reigns supreme. You'll find everything from dried lavender flowers to essential oils, soaps, and lotions, all beautifully made and very authentic to the region. It's one of those souvenirs that not just looks pretty, but actually brings you back to this place every time you smell it. By 6:15 p.m., everyone had to be back on board, and we slowly started sailing away from Avignon. It was one of those really beautiful moments watching the city fade into distance, knowing you just made another unforgettable memory. And around 6:40 p.m. we had the port talk for the next day, and then 7 p.m. it was time for dinner. This ended up being my favorite dinner of the entire cruise. It was Provençal themed evening and really made it special. The whole dining area was decorated in French style, and even the staff was wearing traditional aprons. It added such a fun and authentic touch. It really made the whole experience feel like we were completely immersed in the culture. Dinner was buffet style, featuring local Provençal dishes so you could try a little bit of everything. But what made it even more special was the people. By this point in the cruise, we had already met other guests and we ended up having dinner together, sharing stories, talking about our day, and just enjoying the moment. That's something I didn't expect, how quickly you connect with people on a river cruise. And as we sat there talking about Avignon, it made me think about something really interesting. Here's something most people don't know. Even after the popes returned to Rome, one pope refused to leave Avignon. He stayed behind, claiming he was a true pope while Rome had another one. For years, there were actually two popes at the same time, one in Rome and one in Avignon, and both believed they were right. And honestly, I don't blame the one who refused to leave Avignon, because this is definitely one of those places you never want to leave. And until the next day, God bless you, and I see you in the next video.